Today on the podcast, how do you stay consistent with your social media posting and marketing? We're going to talk about it today. Stay tuned.
Welcome to the Christian Musicpreneur Podcast, where we provide tips, tools, techniques, and resources to help you grow your ministry. I'm your host, Simone Henry, a business coach and mentor for independent Christian recording artists.
To another episode of the Christian Musicpreneur Podcast. I'm your host, Simone Henry, in case you didn't know. And I just wanted to talk to you today about staying in the game, being more consistent with your social media marketing. We talked about this at length pretty much on the IGAA live stream that we did, that Philip Carter and the rest of the board did a little over a week ago maybe. And I just wanted to give some more tips and ideas for those of you who are like me, who when they hear the words, okay, you need to be consistent, you need to stay consistent with your marketing and, with being out there and showing up for your audience. Sometimes just hearing, be consistent and stay consistent it's kind of a trigger for me, because it's a struggle for me. It's been a struggle for me pretty much my whole life, and I wanted to share with you some of the things that I'm learning to combat my inconsistency, right? And be a bit more disciplined and show up more for my audience. And if you are like me and you need help in this area, I think today is going to be a good episode for you, right? So first of all, being consistent with your social media posting doesn't have to be a chore. When I talk to artists, sometimes they sound like, oh gosh, it's a chore. I wish somebody else would just do it for me. And there are some services out there that do offer social media management, but I always feel that you as the artist should be doing most of the posting yourself, simply because you want your audience to get to know you rather than the social media manager. Unless, of course, they can post in your voice. If they can do that, then you've got a great social media manager. But if all they're posting are announcements and flyers, that kind of thing, well, then I think you need something a bit more extra, something that's going to be more like helping you to build that relationship and build community with your audience, because flyers and announcements about what you're doing is not going to do that. All that is it's an announcement, right? It's like sending a newsletter in your email. Really anybody can do that, but only you can actually have conversations with your audience. So there are some strategies and tools available to help you to stay in front of your audience and to connect with them in a more consistent way. So I am going to talk about them now. Let's see. So the first one, and it's something that we all know about, whether you're using it or not, these have been around forever, and I'm talking about social media schedulers. So schedulers are great tools for planning ahead and scheduling your social media posts early and getting it out of the way. So you can sit down, and if you're a planner, I think these are great tools, because you can sit down and schedule out your posts for the week or for the month on a monthly basis, or 2 weeks in advance, and then just have the scheduler do the posting for you. And what you do is you go back in and you're monitoring, you're looking at notifications that come in when somebody reacts or they comment. Then you can go back in and you can comment on their comment or react to their comment or whatever. because you definitely need to do that. The scheduler will do the posting for you, but you will need to, make sure that you are responding to comments and reactions and different things like that, right? Because you don't want the social media scheduler and the manager to just post and it just sits there. And when people are commenting and liking and that kind of stuff, that they don't hear from you again after that. Um, you want to make it more of a two-way conversation. You're not just dropping announcements, you're actually building up community. Okay, so um, number two, this is a way to help you to stay on track with it, and that is building in some accountability. So you can have an accountability partner where you meet together once a week or once a day, and you're checking in with each other, and you're making sure that you're doing the things that you said that you wanted to do. I have heard of some accountability partners, they are, some are very lax with it. They get, you get together and you're talking about everything under the sun, and y'all are just friends, and you're hanging out on the phone or whatever. But I've heard some accountability partners are a lot more strict with it, where if you don't do the things that you said you were gonna do, they're going to charge you money, or they're going to make you do something unpleasant, or something like that, where it really keeps you on your toes, so that you are doing the things that you said you wanted to do, right? You're putting together the plan. They're holding you accountable for the plan. Another way to build in some accountability is to announce what you're going to do. Like, announce it to your audience. I'm going to do a live stream every Tuesday at 7 o'clock. And because you've announced it, now you've got to show up and you've got to do it, because people are going to be expecting you, and you don't want to look foolish. Okay. You don't want to look like, oh, wow, she said she was going to do this thing. And never saw her. So you don't want that to happen. So to force yourself to do it, if you announce it, then that's immediate accountability right there, because people are counting on it, and so you have to show up. Let's see. Another way is to join a co-working group. Now, co-working groups are nice, where what they do is that they get together and they have quiet time, and everybody is working on something. They set a specific time where everybody gets together, and you can do it in person or online. I've done co-working groups on Zoom, where we set a timer, and for 25 minutes or 45 minutes, however long your session is, and we all just work on something. So you can be planning out your social media postings during that co-working time, and get it done. It's scheduled, focused time for you to work on something, and you're doing it. It's like going to a library or going to a Starbucks, and you're out of your regular environment, your regular normal day, and you've got this focused time, and you're working with other people. They're working on what they're working on, and you're working on what you're working on. It is a great way to get some great work done. Let's see, number 3, develop a new habit. I've been reading this book called Atomic Habits by James Clear, and he's been giving some really good tips on how to build a new habit. And he talks about making it easy, make it easy to do the thing that you want to do, and make it hard to do the thing that you don't want to do. So if you want to stop eating junk food, hide the junk food in a cabinet underneath or behind something that you never even look at, right? But and if you want to stop spending on your credit card, freeze it. Put it in a plastic bag and put it in the freezer. That way, if you're trying to do an impulse buy, you can't really, because you have to defrost your card first before you go. And so it forces you to think before you do it. So, um, so he talks about making it easy for you to do it. So what I've been doing is um, he talks about habit stacking. So, after you do a particular thing, like something, if you want to work on this for an hour a day, let's say, you schedule it after something else that you already do every day. So it just becomes part of that whole routine. So you come home from work every day and you change into your pajamas. Then the next thing you do is you go and you spend time in your office, and um, and make that a habit. Come home, put down my keys, change into my pajamas, and then go into my office. And when you pick a time like that, it just becomes part of your daily routine. It's part of something that you already do, right? If you come home, you change into pajamas every day, then it's just the next thing that you do after that. Um, and then also he talks about having a dedicated space. So if you have a dedicated space, like all you do in your bedroom is sleep, all you do on the couch in the living room is watch TV, and all you do in your office is work, then you go into your office and you spend that time working on your business, working on your ministry, and it becomes ingrained in you. When I'm in here, this is what I do. So then it becomes it's like hacking your brain. It becomes more of a habit, and it makes it easier to do, so that you don't have to depend on your feelings, and you don't also have to depend on a willpower, because there are just sometimes when we just don't have the willpower. But if it's already built into your day and built into a particular space, then it's easier to do. Okay. And let's see, number 4, think about your content ahead of time. When you don't have to, when you know that you've got to post that day, but you're not sure what it is you want to post, and you're sitting there and you're looking at a blank screen with the cursor blinking or whatever, and sometimes it's hard to come up with something on the spot. But if you're thinking about it ahead of time, then it's easier to come up with something to post for that day, or to schedule it out early, or it's about the planning, right? When you're planning ahead of time, then it's easier to continue on with it, because you've already flushed it out. So here are some of my ideas. Set up categories, and then think about topics that you want to post for each category. What I see a lot of artists doing is that the only thing they post about when it comes to their music, because people are posting all the time, and they're posting about birthdays and inspirational quotes and Bible verses, and lots of different things, what's going on in the world. But when it comes to their music, all they post is, I have a new single out, go and buy it, go stream it, that kind of thing. Well, with your music, you can post a whole lot more. You can post behind the scenes stuff, videos, photos, talk about what you're doing in the moment. Um, you can talk about the songs that you're singing and what they're about and how you came up with it. You could talk about why you're an artist in the first place, and you could talk about what inspires you on a regular basis to keep going as an artist. You could talk about what it's like to be an artist. Yeah. And you could talk about the gigs you have coming up and what you're excited about. Or are you going to a town that you've never been to before? You could talk about a lot of that stuff, right? So if you set up like categories, and then topics for each category, then it's easier to find something to say when you haven't planned it out ahead of time. Take a bunch of photos and videos when you're out and about, when you're doing your artistry thing, and but don't drop them all at once. Drip them out over time so that media can be used over a longer period of time, because you may have a month where you're doing a lot and there's a lot going on, and then another 2 months where there's not much going on. Well, you're going to need content for those months when there's not a whole lot going on, but you still want to stay in front of your audience. So you use the videos and the pictures and stuff that you've taken before, and use those in your drier months, so it doesn't look like you're not doing anything. I mean, you can say that, hey, we don't have a lot going on, but we're looking back at such and such, when we did this and we did that, and it was funny, and oh, we had a great time working with this producer and recording this song and that kind of thing. So yeah, drip it out over time. You don't use it all at once. Take a page from someone you admire and what they're doing, but put your own spin on it. You don't want to copy exactly what somebody else is doing, but if you see somebody, you're following somebody on social media and what they're doing looks really cool and you think that your audience would like it, then do it and put your own spin on it. Be authentic, but it doesn't have to necessarily be completely original. Keep your ideas in a notebook so you can go back to it. Now, the notebook it doesn't necessarily have to be, notebook like this on paper, although this is very helpful, but it can also be digital. I use a digital notebook called Evernote, and I use the website on my laptop, and I use the apps on my phone and my tablet. So whatever note I put in there, I can clip stuff. Whatever I put in there, it's always with me. So it's sometimes people lose notebooks and lose clippings and different things like that. But with Evernote, I never lose it. But there is value in actually taking pen to paper and writing it down. It solidifies it in your mind that much more. That's what I've heard anyway. Okay. Let's see. Repurpose what you already do. So if you do a weekly podcast, you do a video cast, a radio show or something like that, you or someone you hire or somebody on your team can go through and pick out salient points or interesting pieces of it and cut them down into short clips. Where the way social media is going now, it's shortening everybody's attention span with the reels and the TikToks and the stories, where everything is 30 seconds, a minute long, that kind of thing. And that's a lot of content to be putting out. That's just very short and sweet. And I heard recently that Facebook is all in with the reels. So it behooves you to get some content that is super short that you can put out there. And I think a great way to do that is to use short clips that you already have from, say, a weekly video that you do, that you can use and put out there. You chop that up and put out quotes and short clips, and that keeps your social media fresh and keeps going, right? So I'll be doing more of that coming up soon, because that's an idea I had at the retreat weekend I just did. So those are my ideas to help you to stay consistent and keep you in front of your audience, so that you're not disappearing when when you're in the studio, or when you don't really have a whole lot going on, you're in between recordings or you're in between projects and that kind of thing. Even in those times, or maybe you're not, your sales campaign for your last album just kind of, it finished and it's a done deal. And you're just kind of looking forward to the next thing. You don't have to disappear. You don't have to not be talking about your music at all. You can still be talking about it, but just do it in a way, and it can be done in a way that's it's not burdensome. It's not a chore. A chore. It can be easier. It can be easier. There are strategies and tools available. If this was helpful to you, please let me know, comment below and let me know that this was helpful. And also, if you are interested in my help in creating some content for your social media, that you can use to go for a long time, right? It's May, it's almost half the year. We're looking back on the goals that we made at the beginning of the year, like how are they going? Some of this stuff can be used to refresh ourselves, so the last half of the year we can really hit the finish line the way we want to. Okay, so if you are interested in having my help to help you to come up with some great content for your social media, then I would be happy to help you. And feel free to go to my website, echemusic.com, ECHE music.com, and click on the button in the middle to schedule some time to talk to me. And I will be very happy to help you. And also feel free to share this video with a friend. I would love it if you would do that. Thank you, and I will see you next week. Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Christian Musicpreneur podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, it would mean a lot to me if you would like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Feel free to share your takeaways in the comment section below and join my free Facebook group, Christian Recording Artists Seeking Freedom. See you next time, and remember to take action and never give up.